करते हैं blotting techniques के बारे में. The blot techniques involve electrophoretic separation of the specimen components followed by transfer of the separated pattern to sheets such as nitrocellulose or diazomethyl paper DBM. It is possible to preserve the fractionated electrophoretic patterns by using techniques such as autoradiography and ELISA. The separated pattern can be visualized and the specific DNA or RNA fragments can be identified. Both southern and northern blotting techniques involve fractionation of the nucleic acid by electrophoresis and then transfer of the separated pattern of nucleic acids to a solid support such as nitrocellulose sheet with subsequent hybridization for the identification of the separated fractions. The original procedure was termed Southern blotting after its investigators E.M. Southern. In this assay, the test material is DNA. Northern blotting was named not for its inventor but as a companion technique to Southern blotting that utilizes RNA as the test nucleic acid. Western blotting is a similar procedure in which proteins are subjected to electrophoresis and later on, after fractionation, transferred to a solid support. An example of this technique applied to the detection of HIV type 1 antibodies. The HIV-1 antigens are separated according to the molecular weight by gel electrophoresis and transferred to a nitrocellulose membrane by electroblotting. A serum sample or test sample is afterwards incubated with the nitrocellulose strip with separated antigens on it. If HIV-1 antibodies are present in the test sample, they bind to the specific antigens on the nitrocellulose strip. After washing, the strip is incubated with alkaline phosphatase, anti-human immunoglobulin conjugate, which forms a complex with the bound HIV-1 antibodies. After a further washing, the nitrocellulose strip is incubated with an alkaline phosphatase substrate. Substrate reacts with the alkaline phosphatase to form colored bands. Appearance of colored bands indicates the presence of specific antibodies in the test sample, while the absence of colored bands indicates absence of the HIV type 1 antibodies. The protein transfer and immobilization following fractions by electrophoresis, particularly by SDS gel, provides a powerful tool for the analytical study of proteins present in very low concentration in the cell culture or body fluids. Antigen as low as 500 Ng per ml or 2.5 nanograms per band in the gel can be detected by this method. The detection limits of this technique can be lowered to less than 100 picograms by using chemiluminescent assays for the labeled antibody. The applications of blotting techniques can be used for the detection and determination of hormones, enzymes, viral antigens, allergens, receptors, complement system components, DNA, binding proteins, apolipoproteins, glycoproteins, oncogenes, etc. अब हम बात करेंगे अगली टेक्निक की, क्रोमैटोग्राफी. Chromatography is a technique by means of which the membranes of a group of similar substances are separated by a continuous distribution and redistribution between two phases. One stationary and one is mobile. The variable affinity of the various components towards stationary phase and mobile phase ultimately leads to their separation. Chromatography techniques are used to separate molecules on the basis of difference of size, mass, shape, mobility, charge, and absorption properties. The term chromatography was derived from the Greek meaning colored writing. It was first used by the Russian botanist Tsvet to describe the separation of colored plant pigments. He used a column of alumina. The separation chromatographic technique is dependent on the ability of the constituents in a sample to distribute themselves between two immiscible phases in contact with one another. One phase is stationary and the other is a mobile phase. The separation of the various constituents in a sample by chromatography depends upon the relative affinity to the stationary phase. The distribution of a substance between these two phases depends upon its distribution or partition coefficient K, where K is equal to the concentration of the substance in the stationary phase upon concentration of the substance in the mobile phase. If K is equal to 1, then the substance will distribute equally between the two phases. If K is less than 1, then the substance will have lesser affinity for the stationary phase and more affinity towards the mobile phase. If K is more than 1, then the substance will have more affinity for the stationary phase compared to that with the mobile phase. To separate the various constituents in a sample, each of its constituents should have different affinities or K values for the stationary phase. The various constituents then are eluted at different times or retention times with the mobile phase. Different types of chromatographic techniques are based on the type of the interaction with the stationary phase. इसमें पहले हम बात करेंगे पहला प्रकार क्रोमेटोग्राफी का एडसॉर्प्शन क्रोमेटोग्राफी. The constituents in a sample are separated according to the interaction with the active chemical sites of an adsorbent used as a stationary phase. An equilibrium is set up between molecules bound to the column and free in the solution. The binding of the constituents is governed by the charge, van der Waals forces, dipole interactions, hydrogen bonding, and the steric factors, which depends on the structure of the components in the sample. इसका दूसरा प्रकार हम चर्चा करेंगे पार्टीशन क्रोमेटोग्राफी. The constituents in a sample are separated on the basis of their ability to distribute themselves between the stationary and mobile phases, which depends on the partition coefficient K. The partition takes place between an immobilized liquid stationary phase and a mobile phase, which may be either a gas liquid chromatography or a liquid in liquid chromatography. In gas solid chromatography, the stationary phase is a solid. अब इसके अगले प्रकार के बारे में आपको बताएंगे आयन एक्सचेंज क्रोमेटोग्राफी. In this type of chromatography, the stationary phase used is an ion exchange resin for the separation of constituents based on the number and types of the charges present in the column. Molecules can also be separated on the basis of differences in the size by passing them down a column containing swollen particles of a gel. Small molecules can enter the gel, but large molecules are excluded from the cross-linked network. As they pass down the column, the small molecules diffuse into the gel and follow a longer path than the large molecules, which are completely excluded from the gel particles. Eventually, complete separation takes place with the large molecules leaving the column first and the smaller ones at last. कुछ other modes जो क्रोमेटोग्राफी के होते हैं, जैसे कि पेपर क्रोमेटोग्राफी. In this type of chromatography, a liquid system is used in which one liquid acts as a stationary phase and liquid phase which is supported by the cellulose paper or a paper sheet or Wattmann's filter paper. The mobile phase passes along the paper sheet either by gravity feed or by capillary action. Various components in the sample get separated by their variable affinity towards the stationary and the mobile phase. In most liquid systems, the stationary phase, aqueous, and the mobile phase is a semipolar fluid. The main applications are in the identification of characteristic amino acids excreted in amino acid urea and in the identification of sugars excreted in the urine. अगली प्रकार की क्रोमेटोग्राफी होती है थिन लेयर क्रोमेटोग्राफी. In this type of chromatography, the stationary phase is attached to a suitable matrix. Thin layer of the matrix is coated to a plastic, metal or glass. The metal liquid phase passes across the thin plate held either vertically or horizontally by the capillary action. थिन लेयर क्रोमेटोग्राफी का मेन एप्लीकेशन होता है डिटेक्शन एंड क्वांटिटेशन ऑफ ड्रग्स, लिपिड्स, स्टेरॉइड्स, कार्बोहाइड्रेट्स, न्यूक्लियोटाइड्स एंड अमीनो एसिड्स. अब हम बात करेंगे इसके अगले प्रकार की कॉलम क्रोमेटोग्राफी. In this type of chromatography, the stationary phase is attached to a suitable matrix and inert insoluble support. It is packed onto a glass or metal column. The mobile phase passes through the column either by gravity or by use of a pumping system or applied gas pressure. Main applications of column chromatography are in the case of ion exchange chromatography. Cellulose ion exchange resin such as diethyl aminoethyl cellulose or Cefadex are mainly used for the separation of various proteins and hemoglobins, and also it finds its application in high grade purified cations and anions. Polyelectrocytic resins are used as columns for deionization of water. Next on to coming is high performance liquid chromatography, HPLC. हम बात कर रहे थे हाई परफॉर्मेंस लिक्विड क्रोमेटोग्राफी की, इसको हम HPLC नाम से भी जानते हैं. The high performance of liquid chromatography is achieved by a considerable increase in column efficiency. It is achieved by using packing materials of small particle size of 5 to 20 micron meters. These small size particles create considerable resistance to flow of the mobile phase. This resistance is overcome by using high pressures to pump the solvent through the column. HPLC technique separates components of a mixture more efficiently than the other traditional liquid chromatographic techniques. The basic components of an HPLC instrument are a solvent reservoir, a pump, an injector, column, detector, recording device and microprocessor. The solvent reservoir is the mobile phase solvents are contained in a glass reservoir. अगला हिस्सा, the pump aspirates the mobile phase from the solvent reservoir and forces it through the system, column and the detector. The components in the two modes are in isocyclic mode, that is the mobile phase composition remains constant throughout the chromatographic run, and in the gradient mode the mobile phase composition is changed either in a stepwise or continuous fashion throughout the reaction. Then injection system is there. An allocative sample is introduced in a liquid chromatograph through the sample injector. Materials such as silica, alumina, charcoal, and organic polymers are used as stationary support for HPLC. In bounded phase column packings, the stationary phase is chemically bonded to the surface of the silica particles through a silica or ester or a silicon polymeric linkage. Non-polar groups such as acetyl silicon or acetyl silane and polar groups such as aminopropyl or cyanopropyl silanes can be bonded to the silica particles. If a malfunction saline is used, the packing is said to be polymeric. The various column supports are packed in stainless steel or glass lined stainless steel tubes. The अगला हिस्सा इसके बारे में जानते हैं detector. The function of detector is to detect analytes as they elute from the chromatographic columns. Usually the ultraviolet light or the visible light and the diode arrays absorb detect on these detectors are used in various HPLC systems. Fluorometers and electrochemical detectors are also localized and used in certain HPLC systems. The system and data control is by a microprocessor technology which fulfills both process control and data processing functions. As a process controller, the microprocessor controls various parameters such as mobile phase composition, mobile phase flow rate, column back pressure, column temperature, detector temperature, sample injector, detector selection, detector operation, and various steps of column separation. As a data processor, the microprocessor records and displays several functions such as mobile phase flow rate, column pressure, column temperature, and the runtime. The area of each chromatographic peak is determined from the stored data, and it is then used to compute the concentration of the solute that each peak represents. The logarithms used for this computation include those based on calibration curves or other conversion factors that use either internal or external calibration. A complete report is prepared for each chromatographic run. A cathode ray tube or a printer plotter with a keyboard is used to interact with the microprocessor. A fully automated HPLC system is used in the Biorad glycosylated hemoglobin analyzer, and it is used to separate and determine hemoglobin A2, hemoglobin F1, D1, S1, C and E, and also the glycosylated hemoglobin. कुछ और इसकी एप्लीकेशंस के बारे में हम जानेंगे जिसमें डीएनए प्रोब्स का हम यूज करते हैं. A single molecule of DNA is a polymer synthesized from monomers or nucleotides. The nucleotides are composed of deoxyribose, a phosphate residue, and a purine, adenine or guanine, or a pyrimidine base, cytosine or thymine. The four nucleotidic bindings blocks of the DNA and of the nucleotides are joined by phosphodiesterase bonds. The 3-5 linkage is characteristic of DNA. Two chain strands of DNA helix are held together by complementary base pairing. The base adenine on one chain forms two hydrogen bonds with complementary base thymine on the opposite strand of the helix. The base guanine on one chain forms these hydrogen bonds with its complementary base cytosine on the opposite chain or strand of the helix. The two strands are antiparallel and they run in opposite directions. If the sequence of one strand is known, that of the other strand can also be determined. RNA is chemically very similar to DNA, but the sugar unit ribose and the pyrimidine uracils present instead of thymines. RNA exists in various functional forms but always as a single-stranded polymer that is much shorter than DNA. It has an irregular three-dimensional structure. The central binding between two DNA strands can be disrupted by denaturing the agents of temperature at 65 degrees Celsius and at an extreme pH. These favor dissociation of the double-stranded molecule into two separate random coils. Upon removal of the denaturant, the separated strands tend to join or anneal to reform the duplex structure. This reverse process, in which two complementary strands of DNA recombine to form a stable duplex molecule, is referred to as annealing or hybridization. Base pairing may occur between complementary strands of the DNA, between DNA and RNA, and between complementary strands of the RNA, resulting in DNA to DNA, DNA to RNA, and RNA to RNA duplex structure. A short, relatively well-characterized segment of nucleic acid is used to search an unknown sample for the presence of complementary sequences through hybridization process is termed as a nucleic acid probe. A probe is simply a known fragment of a nucleic acid labeled with one of a variety of reporter groups. The label may be radioactive or non-radioactive. The probe may be DNA or RNA and single-stranded or double-stranded. The large double-stranded DNA molecule which is responsible for a disease state must be broken down into small molecules. The base sequence of the fragmented small molecules is first determined. A DNA probe is later on prepared, which is complementary strand, and it is later on labeled and used to detect the specific disease. For example, in sickle cell anemia, in hemoglobin synthesis, instead of glutamic acid in the primary structure of globulin, for which the code sequence of GAG is guanine, adenine, guanine, valine is introduced due to GTG, that is guanine, thymine and guanine code sequence. In the case of normal individual, the codon of GAG, but in a single sickle cell anemic patient, the codon is guanine, thymine, guanine. If portions of a sickle cell DNA that contain the guanine, thymine, guanine codon could be isolated, then it is possible to make a complementary DNA probe which contains the codon CAC, and the labeled CAC probe can be reacted to the patients of GTG sequence in a sample by hybridization. In the absence of the GTG sequence in the sample, no reaction will take place. हम बात करते हैं पॉलीमरेज चेन रिएक्शन की, जिसको हम पीसीआर के नाम से भी जानते हैं. PCR technology was developed by Kary Mullis, generated sufficient quantities of DNA by increasing or amplifying the number of copies of the target region of the DNA, the template which serves as the pattern for making copies, without altering the template nucleotide sequence. At the end of a PCR experiment, over 1 million copies of the original DNA of interest can be obtained as complementary or cDNA or copy DNA. Therefore, PCR provides an efficient method to obtain a sufficient quantity of target DNA required for further analysis. The PCR components are firstly DNA of interest, which acts on the reaction plate. Secondly, primers, short sequences of DNA that flank the target sequence of interest. Thirdly, a thermostable DNA polymerase which catalyzes the DNA production. Fourthly, a buffer system containing a specific concentration of magnesium chloride MgCl2. And fifth component, that is deoxynucleotide triphosphates or DNTPs, such as DATP, GTP, DCTP and DTTPs, which compose the DNA. The sources of DNA for PCR are a double-stranded DNA, dsDNA, containing the nucleotide sequence of interest is extracted from the sample. The dsDNA is denatured to a single-stranded DNA, that is ssDNA, by breaking the hydrogen bonds between the complementary base pairs of adenine and thymine, guanine and cytosine. The target sequence within the ssDNA is then amplified by PCR. The various samples used for PCR are blood, serum, semen for forensic purposes, cells grown in culture for research, tissue biopsy for either formalin or fixed paraffin embedded tissues or frozen tissue sections. अब हम बात करते हैं इसकी क्लिनिकल सिग्निफिकेंस की. PCR can identify organisms that cause infectious diseases. Boiled or diluted dermal scrapings provide DNA for a PCR screening to set or identify parasitic infections such as Leishmaniasis. Tissue biopsy specimens can be analyzed by PCR for gene mutations that signify the early development of cancer. The mutations of genes that control cell growth, tumor suppression and apoptosis, that is programmed cell death, are strongly associated with the molecular pathogenesis of carcinogenesis. These mutations may precede dysplasia, which is a larger cellular change that is a precursor of cancer. The DNA of viruses associated with specific cancers can also be identified by PCR. For example, cervical scrapings of tested and they may contain the DNA for human papillomavirus HPV, a causative agent of cervical cancer. By using PCR to detect HPV, the DNA early detections of cervical carcinomas is possible. PCR can also be of use in detecting genetic mutations associated with other diseases, for example, coronary artery disease due to atherosclerosis, and strongly associated with mutations of the genes that encode for low density lipoproteins LDRL. The mutations result in the dysfunction of low density lipoproteins, contributing to increased blood LDL levels and other clinical signs of atherosclerotic process. If dysfunctional LDLR is detected before the clinical signs of atherosclerosis, early treatment with diet and exercise may reduce and the risk of later development and hence CAD, that is coronary artery disease. Detection of gene mutations by PCR in prenoplastic disorders such as inflammatory bowel disease may be helpful in the early detection of colon cancer. The early detection of gene mutations in pre-neoplastic disorders plays an important diagnostic role in documenting carcinogenesis before metastases have developed. In the case of breast cancer, early detection of mutated genes can precede the histopathologic observation of malignant cells in a breast mass biopsy. Insulin-dependent diabetes mellitus has also been associated with genetic mutations which may precede clinical symptoms. Hence, any individual with documented gene mutations for insulin-dependent diabetes mellitus may be a candidate for early nutritional support, insulin administration, and an exercise program to regulate blood glucose as soon as possible. Mitochondrial DNA extracted from the saliva residues on stamps, shed hair, bone, platelets, and leukocytes have been useful in both diagnostic and forensic pathology. mRNA can be amplified by PCR technique, it is useful in screening assays for the presence of genetic mutations that produce dysfunctional proteins that cause diseases. By using reverse transcriptase, the mRNA is then converted to cDNA, and this reaction is called RT-PCR. The extraction procedure for mRNA must be conducted carefully to ensure that the RNA is not degraded by RNAs that are indigenous to all tissues and expressed by bacteria. Basic precautions are performing extraction at 4 degrees Celsius, storing the mRNA, that is the messenger RNA, in the appropriate solvent at -80 degrees Celsius, and sterilizing all glass and plastic pairs to make free from RNAs. The basic components of PCR are a double-stranded DNA or dsDNA of interest separated from the sample. Then we have the primers. Two primers known as antisense and sense primers are required. A primer is typically a sequence in the range of 15 to 25 nucleotides whose sequence is complementary to the known nucleotide sequence of interest. Each primer sequence is specific for each unique gene sequence. The thermus aquaticus, that is TAC. Since PCR is performed at high temperatures, that is 55 to 94 degrees Celsius, eukaryotic DNA polymerase that functions at 37 degrees Celsius would be degraded. Thermus aquaticus or TAC, which thrives at an optimal temperature of 90 degrees Celsius in hot springs, provides the thermal source of thermostability of RNA. DNA polymerase cloned from the Polycoccus furiosus PFU, an organism that grows optimally in geothermal marine sediments at 100 degrees Celsius. The buffer systems and DNTPs are the optimal for PCR conditions, significantly influenced by MgCl2 concentrations of the buffer system. The 4 DNTPs are added to the reaction mixture at concentrations of 50 to 200 nanomoles to provide the source of nucleotides used to extend the primary of the reaction and catalyzed by the thermostable DNA polymerases. The main PCR protocol consists of that DNA is extracted from a specific source, sample is mixed with saline EDTA solution. EDTA chelates metal ions needed for ddNAs and inhibits its activity. Lysozymes and sodium dodecyl sulfates are added to rupture the cells in the sample. The mixture, that is sample plus EDTA, is kept with lysozymes at 37 degrees Celsius and afterwards at 60 degrees Celsius with SDS. After cooling to room temperature with high salt concentrations of 0.15 molar sodium chloride, which prevents DNA strands separation, sodium chloride solution is added, which denatures the proteins. The DNA extraction is carried out by the organic solvent mixture chloroform, followed by centrifugation at 10,000 degrees. DNA strands are separated and dissolved in concentrated saline citrate and treated with RNase to remove the contaminated RNA. Fraction is at 37 degrees Celsius, and after centrifugation, the upper layer is used for PCR methodology. Then the denaturation of the RNA and the DNA. The DNA denaturation is often called as melting and is achieved by heating the ddNS DNA at 94 degrees Celsius for 1 minute. Annealing to the primers of the DNA takes place at 60 degrees Celsius for about 2 minutes. Then extending the primers, the primary extension is performed at 72 degrees Celsius for 2 minutes. When primer extension is terminated, one cycle of PCR is completed by doubling the number of ddNase molecule. Each cycle of PCR follows sequentially, utilizing the extended primers from the previous cycle as templates. This creates a chain reaction, and about 20 cycles of PCR are required to produce a million-fold amplification of ddNAs extracted from the sample of choice.